Hello, everyone. Hi there. Good morning. It's Monday, and we're here today for Wellness Week at Seneca's Athletics and Recreation Department. We're happy to be joining with plenty of guests and special speakers this week. We have tons of activity planned for you, and we want to make sure that you're staying well and motivated to get through this and hopefully see everyone back soon in person. So my name is Mike. I am a sport coordinator typically at Seneca York campus, and I'm here at home, obviously, in my office, and hopefully soon to see you in person. And basically what we're doing today is we have a theme, and it's called Being Productive and Efficient. So I'm actually going to be joined today by Derek Reiner from our Learning Center at Seneca College, and together we're going to be talking about what it means to be productive as well as efficient, and both from working and studying from home as well as transitioning back in person. So kind of utilizing a lot of the skills that we've gained from being independent at home and isolated, working independently, being creative, but also some of the collaboration that we get from working at a team and those traits that we miss about working in person. So we're going to get some feedback from Derek, and he's going to talk about some of the programs in our Learning Center. And I'm going to let him in right now, chat a little bit, and I hope everyone's having a good morning so far and a start to your week. And there he is. Good morning, Derek.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm great. How's the weekend?
Not bad at all. How about yours?
I'd like to say it's pretty much the same as the other ones, but you want to try to spice it up and do some different things. But we were outside, rain or shine. You got to get outside and get active and moving and whatnot. So, and I'm still working off that Thanksgiving food from the previous weekend. So thank you so much for joining us. This is our Wellness Week. I did a bit of an introduction there. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. First off, thank you for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone, and I hope everyone else had a fantastic weekend and that you're all doing well and that your term has gone very well so far. So as Mike said, my name is Derek, and I am with the Learning Centers. So what we do in the Learning Center is provide academic support in many different ways. So some of you may be already familiar with our services. So we can provide tutoring in a number of different areas. So for example, we can help with specific courses. We can help with general study skills. We can provide assistance in the area of English. So a lot of students meet with our tutors to receive help for their writing, reading comprehension, speaking. And then we have group sessions. So we have workshops for specific courses. We also have English workshops that cover grammar, writing, speaking skills. And then we have resources that you can access on our website. So we have a lot of different ways in which we can help you. And there is no extra fee or charge for any of the services offered through the Learning Center. And at this point, everything we offer is through, in terms of our appointments and workshops, are done through Zoom, but hopefully at some point in the new term, we will start to slowly move back onto campus.
Wow, great. That's a lot. That's amazing that the students have access to those services, and it's very valuable. Highly recommend everyone, non-dependent, even if you maybe don't think you're struggling, but it's always nice to have support, and that's amazing. So with myself and Derek here today for our Wellness Week daily theme, we're talking about being productive and efficient, and that can mean many things to many of you as far as the type of personality you have and how you work efficiently and how you get your tasks completed, whether school related or just managing your life as a new adult or mature student, or if you have kids or whatever your circumstance is. So we have a couple maybe different tips and perspectives that we can offer and hopefully motivate you to help prioritizing and transitioning back to in-person, because we know that we've kind of all struggled in some capacity with getting things done when we're separated, right? And before we do, and because it is around lunchtime, and before we start our little chat here, we're just keeping our theme with wellness. And just as a curiosity, what's your go-to lunch or snack that maybe you can share with everyone?
Right, that's a really good question. You got to think about that one. Blueberries are definitely a favorite. So I try and eat blueberries as much as I can during the week and weekend as well. And
that's great.
Pasta and a few others, but I'd say blueberries is probably my go-to at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't really go wrong. Lots of antioxidants and vitamins, blueberries. So I'll definitely throw a lot of those in my smoothies. Definitely for sure. I'd say myself, if I had a go-to I try to eat healthy across the board, but it's never every day. But I would say a good go-to snack is just carrots and hummus. I like to just have that anywhere within reach, and that's my go-to. But so thanks for sharing that, Derek. Let's get started with our daily talk here on productivity and efficiency. So obviously we've already mentioned that we're all working and studying from home this whole year and a half, or however long it's been. I've lost track of COVID and being at home and virtual learning and work is number one of the top kind of, not complaints, but I guess hurdles that we've had to deal with is how we can be just as, if not more productive at home, where we have lots of distractions and there's other people that you're sharing the space with. And you want to make sure that you're as efficient as possible to get those tasks completed, so there's no procrastination and video games and TV binging, whatever it is. So do you have any tips as far as just general productivity and how students, or anyone for that matter, can benefit from?
For sure. The first tip I guess I would put out there is all of us are unique, all of us are different. So what works for another person may not necessarily work for you. And the reason I bring that up is sometimes I hear from students, oh, my friend or my family member who's in school does this. I don't understand why it doesn't work for me. But that's where you want to experiment and see what works best for you. Because again, we're all different. So that can include anything from the time of day where you realize you're most productive. And I know that's something that helps me. I mean, certain things we can't really decide when it's going to happen. They're scheduled, they happen when they happen, but sometimes we do have a choice. So you may want to schedule your more challenging tasks for when you feel you're most alert. So if you're a morning person, great time to maybe study for your most challenging course or whatever that task may be that's more challenging. And then also too, you want to make sure that you have a designated space for whether it's studying or, as we spoke about in our cases, work. Because if you're just kind of finding spots all over, and you may associate those spots with other things. So for example, the other day a student told me that if they study too close to their bed, right away they just want to jump in it and all productivity is gone. So if you can find a space that works for you, and you can set it up in a way that, for example, your chair is at a height that's good for you, the desk is at a height, but also too, you could put maybe affirmations around you. You can have certain colors around you that encourage you or calm you down. You want to have all your supplies with you so you're not constantly going to find them, which can encourage procrastination. And then also too, you want to be aware of what your different habits are in terms of scheduling. So by that I mean, it's great to schedule when you actually have to study and perform a task for school. But if you leave out the scheduling for your personal tasks, then again, your scheduling may kind of fall to the wayside, because you want to make sure that you're accounting for all the other things beyond your studies as well. So I find that that's something that's really helpful. And a lot of students say they benefit from having at least 2 schedules. So it could be a monthly schedule and a daily, or a monthly and a weekly, maybe all 3. And you can download them, create them on your own, buy them, whatever you like. But the monthly gives you that overview. And then you have the daily or the weekly, again, you can have both, that you can break it down. You don't have to put a ton of detail in. You're more just putting things so that you can schedule, plan. Yeah. And I find that's really key, because if we're just going spontaneously, then we can push things back. So there's just a couple of, or a few small tips that I would suggest. There's obviously others, but just a few things that have worked.
Wow, that's amazing. I really liked all those points. I could definitely benefit from those, and have learned the hard way for some of them, unfortunately. I think we've all kind of learned the hard way, especially in particular the space that you're talking about, as far as, maybe you can find a space in your home if you are sharing it with multiple people, as far as, that's my spot. Make it comfortable, but not too comfortable. Like you said, not right on your bed, because then you're just, if you're video game consoles there, or your laptop, or whatever it is that would distract you from the objective, or going to sleep for that matter. So, but at the same time, making it something that is going to be effective for getting your tasks done, and designating that space. And we actually kind of say the same thing when it comes to health and wellness and fitness, when we're all been trying to work out at home. With our workouts and not having a gym, and designating a small little area where you know that you won't have any distractions, or at least minimal distractions from getting a little exercise routine done, a little bit of physical activity, is to designate an area in your home that you know, I'm going to get down on the floor and do these exercises. And it's the same thing that applies to your studies or your work. These are all under the category of being productive and prioritizing all of your to-do lists. And those are really great points. So thank you so much, Derek, for sharing that. And just also a reminder for everyone that, and I can sort of relate to this as well, is when we talk about the word productivity, usually automatically your first association is a quantitative definition as far as getting lots of stuff done. I have 35 things to do on my to-do list. Are you productive? And that can be very overwhelming, especially if we're anxious and we're dealing with so much with the pandemic and being at home and isolated, that being productivity itself is a little bit overwhelming. So we tend to use the word efficient and working smarter, not necessarily harder, because you need to be able to take care of yourself while doing so. But everything you said is just so helpful. So thanks, Derek. And our next topic is basically in an optimistic lens, is returning to campus. For those of you that haven't at least fully returned to campus, which is hopefully in the near future for everyone, both for staff and for our students. How can we continue to utilize these insights and perspectives to productivity and being efficient at home, but then maybe also returning to campus? And are there any resources that we can utilize to make sure that we transition back? Because obviously there can't be an unrealistic expectation from us to go from at home 100% back to in-person 100%. It's a little much. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think you've made the point very articulately, Mike, that it's a process. And I think we're learning a lot of lessons while we're home, or basically in terms of maybe we're finding out more about ourselves in terms of how we can become more productive and how we can work more smartly. And so coming to one of your points, the prioritizing, again, it's really key. So as we move forward, if we figured out that at home, if we prioritize, we're able to be more productive. That's just an example of one strategy that you can transfer over. So as you said, we're taking strategies and tips that we've learned at home, and now we're taking them back with us. And one thing I want to add to the point we were making about productivity that can really help, especially if anyone watching is very visual, when you're setting up your schedules, color coding can make all the difference. Because if you can get into a pattern where certain colors represent highest priority tasks, another color medium priority, another color a bit less in terms of priority, and then that starts to become ingrained in you, that's something that it'll become automatic when you look at any type of schedule you set up, if you put that coding in place. And then you can use that as you transition back to campus, because again, it's something that has worked for you up to this point, or is working, so why stop? So that's where we don't have to think, because we're going to campus, we're starting fresh all over again. Take the strategies with you. And then another thing I'd suggest is, in terms of help, anytime we switch from one situation to the next, it's a transition. There's an adaptation period. And that's going to happen when we start to slowly move back on campus. And I know for me, oftentimes when I'm adapting to something, it's good to know that there's help out there. So please do not feel that because you're moving now onto campus at some point, that all the help that you may be accessing when we're virtual is not going to be available. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Right? Even if you just have one little question, it's great to reach out. Don't wait till that one question becomes 20 or 30 questions and you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. You don't have to struggle through any situation on your own. You have Mike and his incredible department. You have the Learning Center. You have all these different areas that can help you, and we all work together. So that would be one of my main tips as you move back. And if you're not sure who to reach out to, again, just reach out to any of us and we'll help you. And you can go online and explore different areas that can help you. And then also I would suggest that you start to get yourself back into a routine, because I've spoken to some students who have said that, especially if a lot of their lectures are recorded, their sleep habits now are very different. They may wake up at a certain time just to watch the recording rather than wake up early as they may usually do, or may usually wake up. So as you start to move back on, say you have 8 o'clock class now, start to slowly get yourself into a rhythm where you're developing a routine. So it's not all of a sudden a shock to your system that maybe you've been waking up at 11 in the morning. Now all of a sudden you have to wake up at 7. So there's other things that we could discuss, but I'd say those are two main ones: reaching out, and then also to just making sure that you start to develop a routine. And so I think hopefully by reaching out, you'll be able to discover even more strategies that will be helpful.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I love that. And especially that last part there, and as a parent and all our fellow parents and staff can fully appreciate is, that routine of, like you had said, that we're not used to that, regular expectation that, you got to be there 8 a.m. now. Is dropping your kids off and prepping in the morning, getting everyone ready, and then going to work. And maybe ourselves, we're not really entirely adapted to that yet. So I think it's nice and humbling knowing that we're all in this together, and we all have our own individual experiences that are affected by this, and being productive doesn't just mean getting stuff done. It just is how you get stuff done and efficient, right? So, and one last thing I guess I'll add on top, because Derek, you just explained everything amazing, and tips were so great, and we can help use those for sure, is also look on the bright side of the benefits of us being at home this whole time. We've had to adapt, and a lot of us have had to maybe learn new skills, or as far as our personalities of working on our own by ourselves. Some people, maybe like myself, a little bit more introverted. I actually prefer, and I am more creative and more productive when I have my time, when I can close the door and get some stuff done. And some people really need that group work and to be productive. So I think if anything, this past year and a half of the pandemic, being at home, has taught us something about ourselves, that going forward, we can really be stronger and utilize those skills. So if anything, it'll just be better. So that's my opinion. And Derek's, thank you so much for doing this. To finish off, did you want to maybe talk about the Learning Center and the Strive program that you guys offer as well?
Thank you. I wanted to just make sure we had the time to do it. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
So as Mike just said, we also have the Strive program within the Learning Center. So it overlaps very much with study skills. So the Strive program is providing you with skills that not only apply to your courses, but also, how can I put it? They also apply to your life skills. So for example, some of the things that we've spoken about today, you can actually meet with an academic coach through Strive. You would just book them on our online system, just like you would book an appointment for, say, math or science or English. So you'll see the academic coaches come up, and you can discuss areas like time management, which we've been discussing today. You can discuss note-taking, strategies that apply to all your courses, but then we go beyond that. So for example, just habit building. So you could book an appointment to discuss how to build habits. And so just to give you a quick tip that may come up in a session you build, we have cues that often let us know that we need to perform an activity. So it could be exercise, for example. Some students may or individuals may put sneakers in a certain position, and that lets them know right away, time to perform a certain exercise. And after a while, it becomes very natural. In fact, if you don't follow the routine after being triggered, you feel like you're uncomfortable. So that's just an example. And the same applies to studying. Maybe you put your math book in a certain place and you know, okay, I need to study for math now. So these are the types of things that not only apply to your studies, but also go beyond that and apply to your life, or can be life skills that you take forward. So the Strive program can help you with that. And again, you'll find that on our website, and we can share that address with you. And then just one other comment, Mike, if I have time to add.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to add another comment where some students are thinking ahead to where when they're possibly going on campus, especially if they're first semester, what it's going to be like, and it can be a bit anxiety producing, make people a bit nervous, which is completely natural anytime you're going into a new situation. And I just really urge you to stay positive, because again, there's so many individuals that are around to help you. And this applies both to the virtual and the on-campus environment. Set your goals high regardless of what the circumstances are, because one of the things I love about being in the Learning Center is seeing students who think maybe they can't do as well as they actually can do in a particular course. They think maybe they can just pass. But as they start to move through the semester, the term, and they meet with the tutor, meet with their instructors, exercise, take advantage of different resources that are available, they realize that they can do a lot better, and their grades start to improve. And then all of a sudden they're thinking, maybe I can get that A or that A+. And we see it all the time. So I really encourage you to set your expectations high. Again, stay positive. Know we're all here to help you. There are no dumb questions. Every question's a valid question, but we know you can do well, and know that we all are here to help you be successful. So that would be the main thing I'd keep in mind as you move forward in this virtual environment, for those of you that aren't on campus yet, and for those of you that will be moving on campus soon. Just keep that in mind, that again, you can do well, and we're here to help you. Thank you for that, Mike.
That's amazing. Well, that's very encouraging, and such a pleasure. And we're very, lucky to have these resources, and students should reach out if they have any questions, and visit online, you can visit the Learning Center contact for both Derek and his colleagues. And for the rest of the week here in athletics and recreation, we are doing our wellness week. So we have many more conversations and activities happening this week. So check out our recreation account. There's far too many for me to list them off all right now. And so thank you so much, Derek. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully going forward, we all have a nice, productive transition back to campus. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you so much, Mike. Please stay healthy and safe, everyone. And I wish everyone a fantastic week. All the best on your upcoming assignments and tests.
Thanks, everyone. Be well. Take care.